I will be your salvation. I will be the resurrecting force of the MCU. My first ever appearance in any comic book movie will be the greatest that will ever happen. What do you mean? What do you mean I've already showed up in two other movies? Seriously? Well, so much for that. By the way, got this at a convention a while back, and thought it would be the perfect time to break this out and use it. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Daniel Strunk from QuickTime Reactions, and the day that this video gets published, it'll be my 25th birthday. So if you guys want to drop down some happy birthday comments, or like the video for my birthday, or maybe even subscribe to the channel because it's my birthday, that would be lovely to see. But today we are going to really start to dive into Fantastic Four stuff. I know the previous week may have been, why are we looking at this? Well, I saw some Fantastic Four qualities in that episode, but now we are really going to dive into it, because this is the second installment in my Forever Classic series, where I'm going to be taking a look at all Fantastic Four movies and stuff adjacent to Fantastic Four that I think definitely counts as having Fantastic Four qualities. And today we are going to be looking at a film that, pains me to say, is this year 20 years old. That is just absolutely insane. And that is the first theatrically released, and I am saying that correctly, Fantastic Four, that came out in 2005. This one stars Ioangruffudd, Michael Chiklis, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Julianne McMahon. I almost said Julius McMahon. I would have been wrong. Julianne McMahon, Kerrywashington, and so many more. And it shows us not only the origin of how Marvel's first family was created, but it also shows their adventures in trying to stop the villainous Victor Von Doom. So, just a bit of background. This version of the Fantastic Four and its sequel that we're going to talk about next week, this is the Fantastic Four films that I think everyone associates with, especially for people that are my age, because these are the films, along with the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, that really set a foundation as to what we associate with superhero films. Like, these are kind of like the building blocks to what we have now, essentially, in the MCU. This film was written by Mark Frost and Michael France, and it was directed by Tim Story. He, of course, did Barbershop in 2002 and would do Ride Along. He would also do films like the 2019 Shaft film. He would also do The Blackening, and everyone's favorite cat and mouse duo Tom and Jerry. He did the 2021 film. Uh, so yeah, very very interesting career for Mr. Tim Story. But yeah, this is, like I said, 20 years old, and in some instances, you can definitely see that. Like the effects of this film um, are, my assumption was like pretty good in 2005, but now looking at it with 20 years of hindsight, it's like some of them are like, some are decent, some are not, but like I think it all kind of like washes out in the end, and it's like they're okay. They're okay. The main powers of the four, like the stretching effect on Reed, I think is, some instances it looks pretty good, whereas other times it's like kind of sketchy. Sue's invisibility powers, as well as creating the invisibility shields. That looks really good. Johnny's flame on effect, I think, looks really, really good in this movie. And the thing, you might think that this is CG. No, no, no. This is a fully practical suit that Michael Chiklis wore on set to film this. And I know that it kind of takes away, like, some of the size aspect of the thing. Like in the 2015 film, he's like, massive, and that's what you would expect, the thing to kind of look like. But here, I actually really, really like the fact that they went with a practical suit, even though it would kind of give away, you know, some size, because, you can see that it's, tangible and real. And I just like that aspect that they used a practical suit. Julian McMahon as Von Doom, I really like, because when they get exposed to the radiation clouds up in space, it's like, they're not immediately exposed, or they don't immediately turn into the superpowered versions of themselves. We kind of get to see that slowly but surely, and with Doom in this movie, it is definitely more of a drawn out process. Like, we get to see like his fingers and stuff start to turn like metallic, and we get to see the cracks start to form in his face, and then he pulls out the mask. And I really like that slow kind of process of showing the radiation just kind of creating our heroes and villains. I really like that aspect. And of course, that happened to everybody else. Johnny was out with a reporter who was played by Maria Menounos, by the way. They're like skiing, snowboarding, and then Johnny starts getting flames on his body, and then just shoots off into a pile of snow, and then like there's basically a hole in which like the snow melted around him. That's pretty funny. Reed and Sue are out having dinner. I think Sue knocks over a bottle, and Reed catches it, and he stretches out his arm. Sue starts to turn invisible on that same date, and we cut to Ben in like his hospital bed, and it shows like his weight just going up, 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 and the bed breaking, and then we see him go to basically kind of console. But of course, he's made out of rocks, and she's scared, and she runs away, and which leads to, I think, the best scene in this movie, and that is the bridge scene, where Ben is just sitting, just contemplating, and then a dude comes up, and he's gonna, jump off the bridge, gonna go for a swim in the river, although I don't think he would survive in that instance. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And Ben just looks at him and goes like, really, dude? You are really going to do this when, I'm sitting here looking like this, and the guy walks over, slips, hangs on, and of course there's all sorts of traffic on that bridge, and creates an immediate pileup. And so our four just go into action, trying to save as much people as possible. I also like the effect of the fire truck just sliding and just knocking out all of the supports on the bridge. That was also really, really cool. Ben pulling the fire truck back onto the bridge. Reed saving a fireman that was falling off of the ladder, catching him. Sue kind of protecting everybody from the exploding propane tanks, and saving them with the invisibility shields. And then I can't remember what Johnny did, but I'm assuming Johnny helped in that situation. And of course, Doom sees all this on the TV and is, of course, mad. One of the more funnier scenes, and I just love the way that the suits in this. I really do like the version of the suits. It's what I immediately associate with the Fantastic Four, just like blue with the four emblem like right there on the chest. But Johnny is at a I don't want to call it BMX because BMX is bike. FMX. Yeah, an FMX event. And, he goes and, does a trick and separates from his bike. He flames on, crashes, and, just pulls off, the tatters of his FMX uniform to reveal the suit. And then the rest of the Fantastic Four, especially Ben, is just like, oh, I want to punch his lights out so bad. And so they go to where Johnny is, and Ben and Johnny get into a fight. Also, I have to say, the interplay between Ben and Johnny in this is also really, really good in this as well. But yeah, they get into a bit of a skirmish. And I also just love the fact that there is product placement everywhere. There's like Dos Equis, Burger King. I saw Sobe. Just all sorts of advertisement everywhere, which would make sense. It's an FMX event. Of course there would be advertising there, but I just laugh at the fact that there's all this advertisement everywhere. And that's not going to be the only instance of product placement in this franchise, because in the sequel, their Fantastic Car is literally a Dodge sponsorship placement right there. Going to the end with the fight with Doom, it was a really good fight between, like, everyone gets to showcase their abilities, I think, really, really well. Ben, of course, gets to say the classic catchphrase, "It's clobbering time," and then punches Doom, like, so far away. Everyone gets their, opportunity to shine, but Reed tells Johnny to go supernova, but Johnny's like, didn't you say, like, you shouldn't do that? And Reed's like, now's not the time to, like, remember what I said, just do it. And so Johnny goes into supernova. Sue contains it with her invisibility shield, and this causes Doom, since he is turning into metal, he turns into heat up essentially, and Ben yanks off a fire hydrant and shoots the water with Reed kind of acting as like a funnel to Doom. They essentially cool him off and then freeze him into place, and so they're able to stop Doom. But in the I would say one of the first instances of a superhero post-credit scene, they show Doom getting loaded onto a shipping container ship and sent off, and the ship says Latveria on it, so he is essentially going home to Latveria. Yeah, this movie is just basically a whole big nostalgia rush for me. I remember, you know, this movie and as well as its sequel getting advertised a lot as a kid, and it just brought back so many good memories. Now, does that make it a really great movie? The great movie that everyone has hailed it, since the new marketing stuff has come out? No, I don't think it's like, it's a solid movie, but like really, really great? No, I'm not necessarily. But it is a really good, fun time. It's less than 2 hours. It's a really fun time to watch it. The cast is absolutely amazing, especially our core four. Like, they're absolutely amazing in their roles, and it's just a really fun time to watch. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my review of the first theatrical release of the Fantastic Four. Next week will be its sequel, Rise of the Silver Surfer, where we'll, of course, get to talk about Silver Surfer and their first attempt at trying to get Galactus. But that's a whole other conversation for next week. But until then, guys, be safe out there. And remember, if you go through a cosmic radiation cloud, I would suggest just staying in the house for like a couple days, because you don't know what you're necessarily going to turn into. Just saying. And I will see you guys next time.